That's awesome.
Great. I can follow that. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. So my name is Stephanie Brundle and I'm Canadian and I am retired for about 6 years now and I was getting really bored. So I worked in healthcare my entire career. I started out as an occupational therapist and then I transitioned into organizational development and I left a role, an executive role in a hospital. And I also owned a business and we sold it just before COVID. And that was the best luck ever. And so now I'm because I'm bored, I decided that I would look for some board roles. So I'm a board member on the Canadian Positive Psychology Association. So I found Pete's work through CPPA and took the course, loved it. I've been a coach for about 11 years. And so I was doing some coaching a little bit here and there. A friend of mine had some extra clients and wanted me to help. So I was happy to do that. And so I just caught the bug again. And now I'm very deeply in the Shift Positive 360 mindset and doing quite a bit of work. Right now it's pro bono. And I had some coaching clients that were paid that I decided I would love to give this as a gift to them because it's a not for profit and they're really very tight with money. And then I decided to offer their team a team 360. So I'm in the process of doing that right now, and it's been great. So that's my 60-second intro.
Nice. Well, we want you to meet each other as well. It's great when we come together because it gets all of the different classes kind of mixed up here. And so we'll give you about 5 minutes with others in a little breakout room so that you can get to know each other a little bit better. And I can create those rooms, Lori. I've got them, or unless you already have them
Yeah,
right.
no, go for it. I have not done it.
Okay. So I'm going to create those. Yeah, I think that works. So I'll open those now. Oh, it says they're going to last for 29 minutes. Well, we'll have to,
We'll just have to tell them when it's not.
I just forget that kind of
I
stuff.
mean, you have the power. You can like stop it whenever you want to.
Yeah.
Fun. We've just got a text from someone too that they're on a call. I didn't see who it was, but I didn't want to look.
Andrew.
Oh,
It's
it was Andrew. Got it.
Andrew. Hmm. Poor guy.
Good stuff. So who's Lucy? I saw when she came on, her the thing says CHRO. Is she a in business person?
Lucy Gardner, I think she's actually in government.
Okay, great.
I
Perfect.
believe so. I believe so. But that's, yeah, in terms of like the internal.
So she could be part of that group too.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, Dan, Kyle, Lori, good. So we'll go until about 13 after, 14 after. Oh, Alex is here. Nice.
Hey Pete, it's been a minute.
Mr. Alex Brown. Hey, it's
How
just
are
the
you?
three of us.
Hi.
No, I'm
He's
kidding.
teasing you, Alex. We haven't met. I'm Lori, but he's teasing you.
I assume that people are in breakouts.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I can chill for a minute till people get back from breakouts. How about that?
Oh, we got about 3 minutes, so let's put you in one.
Okay, that works.
Yeah, let's assign you to room 4 with Shannon. That'll be great. So
Great.
it's nice to see you. It's actually a pretty big group today.
Yeah. How big are they normally?
I like this. Yeah,
Okay.
I would say like this, maybe. Uh, let me pause this thing. Oh, they're coming back. No one wants to eat on camera.
I wonder why.
Mhm. I forgot that it gives you 60 seconds after I click the thing. So you had an extra minute. Well, nice to have you back. I hope that you got to meet somebody that maybe you didn't know or have a fun conversation. Dan, good to see your face. All the food is out of your teeth, it looks like. So
I hope so.
good to go here. Uh, so let me overview a little bit about what it is that we wanted to cover today. And so some of the ideas that we've got and we wanted to review are a try before you buy kind of program. And then we want to take you through some of the resources that we've got for you. So, and then how it can, some of our experiences, how it can lead to other business. Then more in depth about the community resources. And then finally going into more conversation about how can we be helpful to you? What can we do to be helpful to you? And then the golden ticket program. And then an idea about having kind of a subsection of this group get together, our community that are folks who are inside the organization. And what we found in the past when we've hosted sessions like that is that just like talking to each other about how are you doing this? How are you doing this? How are you using the Shift Positive method? So that's the agenda for today. And let me then start by talking about this try before you buy. So an idea that came forward, and this is actually from Stephanie, is that it can be challenging to get a potential client to buy into the Shift Positive engagement. We know that it's more expensive to do the full Shift Positive 360 than most other 360s out there and off the shelf kinds of 360s and so forth. And yet, when people experience it, they have a very positive experience oftentimes. And so she is doing some work with the Arthritis Foundation and came with this request of, hey, if I were to do it for free for them, could you actually provide me with the platform uses? And I really like that idea because if you get your foot in the door and you're like, let's just do it with one individual or a couple of individuals, then once they experience it, they may well want to utilize your services or our services more. And so the bottom line with that is if you have somebody in mind that you would like to do it for, and we all maybe have kind of a pro bono side to our work, then just let us know. If you want to offer it for free to somebody, then we'll put it in your account for free so that you don't have to go and purchase it. So that's what we call the try before you buy. And if you have other thoughts about that or other ideas of ways that you think, yeah, Dan.
Yeah, sorry, Kev. Always have questions.
Yeah.
Is there, given that's still probably relatively time intensive as a consultant, would you have suggestions as to like decreasing the number to do a hybrid version or doing an AI and then transitioning into live? What are your thoughts on that? Because it's probably a lot of upfront effort to be able to do that, which I'm not against. I'm just curious, like, where's that happy medium from your perspective?
I honestly, we do a pretty deep discount on nonprofits. And so I would probably do it just as Stephanie is doing it. And that is, I'd probably do one for free and probably do like 5 individuals plus the leader. So it's 6 interviews. So really you're spending about 10 hours probably in total to get them through the Shift Positive and the debrief and the development plan. But 10 hours of your time. Otherwise, I could see where you could do it as a combo, do a couple of interviews and then use the AI because you also have a free version, free use on the AI, and we'd be happy to put one in there for you for that same purpose too.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The downside of doing the 2 different platforms is that then the reports are separate. So you'd have 2 different reports then. I mean, the report is the same, but it's not consolidated. Nice question. Cool. Okay.
I just wanted to make a comment. One of the things I'm noticing with my interviews so far is that there's a common theme about people. I don't want to really disclose anything for confidentiality, but there's a common theme of the issue that could be a workshop. And so what I'm going to do afterwards, I've interviewed a number of people, is to say, here's what I'm noticing. A number of people have said that this is important. this thing. I keep hearing it over and over again. And so if you want me to do a workshop on how to do it, then it's not free. Like you can pay for that. So there might be an opportunity and also I've coached these people before, so I've been paid for that already. So this is like a little extra. And then certainly in kind, I've asked for testimonials and some photos and things like that. So you can get some in kind uh, media to an extent. So that's useful. So yeah, I'm just looking at it from a different perspective. I'm just looking to get experience, and I just want to be really solid in what I'm doing and just have some stories that I can tell, like Pete does, about some of the clients that I've seen. Because I think that's very powerful and persuasive to get people to make the decision to go with this. So those are just some other ideas. And yeah, you want to pick somebody high leverage too, that knows a lot of people, that could refer you to other people, that is generous in that way as well. So we'll see. I just started. I'll let you know maybe in the next couple of months how it went, but so far so good.
Nice. Thank you. Other ways in which people have, in essence, gotten your foot in the door. Other ideas like this that maybe the community could learn from.
I guess coming from a different, a little bit of like a internal practitioner or coach perspective, um, I think just finding those one or two people who you can start with, and then everyone else kind of globbing on after that. Like even if like I've had the experience of having a senior person that I worked with in the past, right, who went through this, and lots of other senior people getting interviewed, they're like, I need you to do one of these for me, right? And that's just a really beautiful thing. But there is sort of this need to, obviously you're not selling your services in the same way as you would be if you're an external consultant, but I think there is still a certain amount of that internally as well, especially if something's new or different or it's not a methodology that people are used to.
Good.
And I was sharing with my breakout team there. And Pete, maybe you remember this when I first certified, I ended up selling this as part of I was coaching and doing work with the chief marketing officer at a large corporation. And she bought into it so much that she wanted her whole team to take it. So I ended up doing like 10 just right out of the gate. But I sold it more as a program, if you will, right? Part of a leadership development, for her team. So I was, obviously working and coaching with her, but for her team. And then it just kind of exploded, and a lot of lessons learned. But, and now and Pete, I don't even know if you know this, but I'm internal, now again, for a while anyway. And I see a CHRO, Lucy, on the line there. So I'm VP of Talent Management, which encompasses learning and development, talent acquisition, and employee engagement. So in the learning and development space, right, I'm putting together leadership development programs under the kind of bigger strategy of an organizational corporate university. And I want, right, this is one of my chosen 360s to put into it for more senior leaders. And then I think we talked a little bit, Dan and Kyle, on our breakout about, is there a way to do more of a leadership team approach, right, where it's not X amount of hours? And I know we have the live, and I think Kyle said he was certified on live. But maybe the AI tool has come in. And again, I'm coming in to, get updates from you and everybody else. But again, I was, as a coach, independent coach, I was selling it more within the, context of a package, if you will, for the leadership team. And now, of course, on the inside, I'd like to do the same thing, but at a more scalable kind of, just being more scalable from that point. So, yeah.
And what's
Yeah.
important to me,
And
even if any of you just wanted to do some brainstorming about your particular practice, internal or external, and different options for scaling or for your particular needs, just feel free to get on Lori and my calendar, and we're
Yeah.
happy to kind of
We'll do. I'm at that point. So yes,
Awesome.
absolutely we'll do.
yeah, Darren.
And Tina,
Yeah.
I see your question.
Hi.
So if we can just hold for 1 second. Tina asked, how are people pricing this? Is pricing dependent on how many interviews are done or flat rate? What's the range people say yes to?
That might be a nice thing to put in
So
there.
I can,
Yeah.
yeah, I was just typing a response to that in the chat too.
Okay.
So I'll just finish that. But yeah, I think for me, I think Alex's point, what I've seen a lot of good multiplication, even Lori, is if I can get an executive, a C-suite member, or a board member on the interview team, it's multiplication. It's, oh my gosh, this is so impactful. I've had one look at me and say, I've never left one of these conversations with an action item and how I can actually improve my relationship with someone. And I need you to interview this person, or I need you to look at this person. And so it's just getting the right people, getting in the right level of the organization. Tomorrow, I'm presenting at an HR conference in Houston on, how to revolutionize feedback. And so I'll be introducing Pete. I'm not allowed to sell anything, so I'm going to be introducing Pete as the brainchild, and introducing Shift Positive. And so I'm hopeful that it'll get some activity towards the website and that, but also just give them the idea of, look, just shift from you suck to you'd be a lot better if, and we could work a lot better if. And so that's my way this year of getting out with the messaging, is just getting in front of the HR folks and helping them understand that, look, you can apply this daily. And if you get in and you get the culture moving and leadership takes hold, you can actually shift the entire culture of the organization to a positive discussion and how they provide feedback. It's changing the vocabulary is what I'm trying to tell them to do.
Well, we'll have to put that on the website. You suck too. You'd be even better if. That's nice.
Yeah, look, Pete, you've known me for years. You know that I'm pretty much all right. Here's how it is. So,
yeah, we go back a ways. Were you going to say something, Jackie? I saw that you came up.
Oh, no, I was just saying the one that I've got in the works right now, I did as part of an onboarding new leader package. So, it's a 12-month coaching arrangement, and we decided in month 4 we would do the 360, and then that would give us the 6 months to get to the follow-up, and then also kind of a couple different points of feedback within the arrangement. And so she thought this was interesting because her whole career has been the doer. Now she's the director and wants to get that feedback. So did it kind of on that, as you onboard, as you learn your new skills, as you do all of this is kind of part of the process.
Nice. And it's nice to come on board with some allies, some people that are going to help you.
Yeah.
One question that you might even poke in there as a probe, fine, because I do have kind of a version of like a new leader onboarding if somebody is just freshly hired,
Just
not
gonna
on the
ask
platform
that.
or anything like that, but is a question around how would somebody, knowing your style, how would somebody work most effectively with you?
Yeah, I like that.
I was just going to ask that, Pete, because that's really interesting, Jackie. Thanks for bringing that up, because that's one of the things. Because I'm like, oh, but they haven't had enough time yet to,
Yeah.
respond to those types of questions of when's the time you work together very effectively. So, Pete, I love that adjustment. So that would for
Yeah,
some.
and then instead of the when have you worked effectively together, it's like knowing what you do about the goals for this leader in this area.
Yep.
What do you think is most important for them to be paying attention to be successful? Yeah. And then again, how would you work to help them to do that?
Yeah. No, that's good feedback.
Yeah, I've got a whole interview process that's just tweaking each one of those questions a little bit for more of an thing. So
That
again,
makes sense.
feel free just to schedule time or
Sure.
and kind of take you through that. Yeah.
Is that on the community resources, Pete?
That one's not. Not a bad idea. Maybe we should make a note of that. How to tweak the questions. Okay, that's cool. Okay. Yeah, because you could still use the platform. It's just that you're just asking it slightly differently. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard somebody mention doing a Team 360. Was that Shift Positive Team 360 or some other tool?
I think it was Lori saying she
Sorry.
wanted
Yep.
to
And
work with the team.
my mouse decided to just die on me there. Yes. So no, it was a team that I was working with under the CMO, and it was individual for each one of them, which was interesting because, and one of the challenges was getting a different mix of people, because of course they all had duplicative, right? And sometimes triple and quadruple, right? The same person. Which can be really burdensome, right, for some of those leaders inside a organization. So we tried to, up front, I was real careful about that, just making sure we had a good mix. And again, the leader that I was working with was fantastic. So she helped, kind of guide that as well. So I come back once I got everybody's input on who they wanted to on their 360. I would go back and just kind of cross check and then check that with her, and she'd be like, "Oh, let's, go with a different person, so they're not getting, interviewed, 5, 6 times, right, for her different team members." So that's one watch out, I would say. But yeah, it was for a team, but each individual.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm going to take us then into kind of what's next. And one of the things that I want to point out was where we've had some successes in training others up on constructive feedback skills. And so I wanted to take us to this this resource page and make sure that if you haven't been here, that you do go here and that you do have opportunity to see what all is out here. I'm going to put it in the chat. But this is only available to people who have been through the certification. They're part of the community here. And there's a lot of really great stuff out here that you might consider when it comes to either selling your services in or even doing something a little bit different. And so, for example, like Darren said, that he's going to be doing a workshop on feedback skills. If you want to use some of our resources around that, here is a PowerPoint deck that you can download. And I'll switch over to that here quickly. But if you were to do that, then this is what you'd find. And you could take these slides, work them into your own stuff. It's all branded and whatnot. So that's the only concern that we have, is that you change the branding on them and stuff. But all of these are slides that you can copy and paste into yours. And so this is one that really goes over the 3 core areas of constructive feedback. So strengths, solution orientation, and allyship, and getting those across. And so it goes deep into those. And you can use it just as it is, or you can change it if you want. It gives the state of feedback, how it's broken in terms of design and delivery flaws, what we think in terms of feedback at its best. And then what we did do is bring in a little bit about Kevin Wilde's work. And if you've been on some of our webinars recently or read his book, Coachability, that is the other side of the coin, which is about how do we help people to receive feedback, to be ready to receive feedback. And so we find that that's actually a really nice mix for audiences, is both how to receive feedback and how to provide feedback. We did that recently with a company called Endeavor Air, a regional airline as part of Delta. And it was a 3.5-hour session. And this is almost the full deck that we used there. Had a couple of other breakouts about receiving feedback and designing those. But it then goes into some of these concepts from Buckingham and Goodall about feedback being relative and relational. And then the article there that was a really good pre-read for that particular group of managers that were learning feedback skills, how the approach is different, the core aspects of it, and then a little bit about positive psychology, but then getting into the core, strengths, growth, and allyship. And then having some of the background information about strengths and then going into growth, and you could build in breakouts in each one of these. So people thinking about somebody important to them and what are the greatest strengths of that person. Then going into the growth and why inattentional blindness is so powerful and why we don't want to prime people with what's not working. And then you can create from that then your own breakout on T-charting, for example, and have them practice T-charting with each other. And then going into allyship and the research behind allyship and the importance of each person then coming up with how they're going to support that person. So what we did in that workshop is had a worksheet that each one of those managers had that was thinking of somebody important to them that would be about the strengths of that individual, the growth for that individual, and how they're going to help that individual. And so you can have a really powerful training in a short period of time. And then why openness is important rather than confidentiality. And then a little bit about how it is that you get better at providing feedback. These sorts of skills as a coach, as a manager, and then the stuff about what it is that we do here. So I don't know if people has anybody here seen or used that deck at all for any of your trainings?
Not yet, but this is powerful, Pete. Thank you.
Sure.
I'm weaving it into my new manager's training mentally as we speak.
Good.
And Pete, if
so
I can interrupt real quick on that Endeavor Air session that we did with them, I have an interview scheduled with one of their training leaders mid next month that she's going to record a testimonial for us about that. So keep an eye out for that. That will be available for you guys to use. So there will be a video testimonial on that as well as a written testimonial. So you'll have more of that just than the story that Pete shared today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I use that pyramid, or I think a pyramid that you just showed. I use that in my marketing material, like in my debrief. Like if I go meet with a head of HR or whatever, I provide that slide, exactly that slide, along with several of the others in a deck that I've created that specifically talks to Shift Positive, the process, the movement, and that pyramid is where I'm like, look, this is more than just a one live interview process. There's so many other tools that we can leverage as part of this, and it's a slow uptake. It depends on the organization where they're at, what it is, but the live interviews has just been super powerful. And I've got one client that's priming that I'm hopeful to probably have 10, 15 engagements over the next 18 months of the Shift Live.
Nice.
And if that's the case, I'll be reaching out to this community because there's no way I'm going to be able to do them all. So.
Good. We can connect you. So, or you've probably met enough people now. So then some of the other resources, I know that we've flashed this in the past, but we haven't really walked through it that much. And so I want to make sure that you're familiar with what all we have out here that's available to you. And some of them that I think are really helpful are especially a couple of articles here. So this research reveals traditional feedback fails, the Shift Positive method works. This article is the one that goes into that research done by Claremont University on our methodology. And then the independent analysis is actually the paper that came back from the statistician that looked at it there. So if you click on that, it's just a nice little article here about what it is that the research showed and the key insights and the importance of allyship. And then it also takes you to the research itself. So if somebody is interested in seeing what was found, but this is where there were 94 leaders that you all in the community were working with, and we had the progress survey results from those leaders. And, as we've said, almost 40% of feedback intervention 360s fail from the meta-analysis research. And in this case, out of those 94 leaders, all 94 leaders showed statistically significant improvement in their professional development goals, every one of them. And out of the 544 evaluations, I think it was 536 of those respondents that were evaluating those leaders said that they had made substantial progress. So I think that this can be a really valuable tool to be able to share. And then also under just the regular website, I wanted to point out some articles there that I think are really helpful. One specifically is this: professional development is not a solitary path. This one, I think, gets across this combination of why feedback is difficult, why it fails, just the biology and physiology, psychology of feedback, how it is that our approach is different. And then it goes into the research that supports the methodology. So those are a few that I wanted to point out to you.
And Pete, as you're going through this, just a time check. I know there was a bunch on that agenda. We've got 20 minutes left.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so I'll pick it up a little bit. That's very helpful. Case studies. How many of you know that we've got 2 different case studies out here available to you? So this one is about a med device company where their entire leadership team wanted to be prepared for a new president coming in. So we did the Shift Positive 360 for every member of the leadership team. So when talking about doing a lot of 360s for a group, that's one that we did, and the results of working with that team. And then the Shift Positive Live was earlier. We were talking about how do you fit Shift Positive into leadership development programs. This was a telecommunication company that they had identified a number of individuals that were high potentials, and especially from diverse backgrounds, that they wanted to be able to accelerate through the leadership pipeline. And so every one of them received the Shift Positive Live, a consolidated way of getting constructive feedback. And at the conclusion of that, and this was research led by Jamie Shapiro, the Shift Positive process was the most highly rated, evaluated part of their entire leadership development program. So they had stretch assignments, they had coaching, they had mentors, they had all that sort of stuff. But the Shift Positive feedback was what was rated the highest. And so some of that information is in there as well. Okay. We've been asked for, like, what are 1-pagers, 2-pagers that we can use to share the methodology with others. And so I wanted to point out 2 of them for you. A new approach to feedback is one that you might find helpful. Right now it's 4 pages, and we're going to consolidate this down to 2 because it gives a bit of overview of the methodology. And then you can kind of skip the stuff on certification. You're all familiar with that. But then the interview itself. So it gives kind of that high level, as well as then, well, what is this actually like? That's the question that we tend to hear. Lori and I just heard that this morning. Can you take us through kind of the concepts, and then what are the workings? How does it actually work? So you might find that one to be beneficial. And then the next is, okay, the interview itself, what is that like? So this interview description is one that can be used as well to point out how this methodology is different than kind of your traditional narrative interview. Okay. So and then the question that we have is, these are some of the resources we put out there for you, but what have you found to be most influential or helpful for your potential clients or the clients that you have? We have nothing. Hey, I'm going to move us on then because we have others. So some other things. All right. If you haven't used a technology platform in a while, want to make sure that you know that you can go through the tech training here. You can see that. It's going to be a nice refresher for you. If you don't have logos on your profile, you can download your logos there. And then How many of you have started using SP360 AI? Alex, you have.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So the AI version is out there. We haven't done a whole lot of promotion of it to the community, but you can learn about it here. You can watch the videos on how to work with the platform, how to administer it. You each, if you have set up your account, if you responded to the request that came out from the platform and set up your account, you have a free use in there. So feel free to use it. But this is where you want to go to learn about how to administer it. And then you can even see the video trainings for the participants that come up throughout the process. And Alex, did you have some questions about AI that you wanted to bring up here?
Yeah, we do have a few questions. I think like some of the biggest things is, I know you said the one small step would go out automatically. Is there a way that we can track that to make sure they're actually getting it? Or to resend it? Because I think sometimes it, it gets lost in spam and we're like, hey, check your spam. And then we resend things. Is there a way that we could potentially resend that to people?
That's interesting because we don't actually send it. The platform sends it automatically. That might be a question for Chris and Max.
I think you can resend it. If you go in, I think you actually resend it by each individual.
Well, you can resend the invitation to participate, but you're talking specifically about the small step one thing email.
Right, right. Like the commitment.
Let's see about that. Okay, I've got that one down. Other questions?
Some of these are from Christina. But we've noticed sometimes it like hallucinates and will say something completely different than what our participant has said in there, or just spit out a random answer instead of what they've said. Or sometimes it won't accept the answer that they put in there. So we're not sure how to work around that.
You mean between the answer box and what comes out in the report?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, the answer box is the answer box. I'd like to see that.
Okay.
Because I know that from the verbal interaction with it to what the summary is can change because, but then they review the summary, they edit the summary, and once they click next, that becomes the answer. So it shouldn't be changing at all from there.
Or we've kind of gotten mixed reviews. Some people say that when they have put in the answer, or type in the box and then it spits out the answer, it won't accept it for some reason, and they have to redo it.
Okay.
Yeah, so a few different things. We like it overall, but there's been a few things that's just been like we're not really sure how to navigate sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, let's look at that together. That'd be interesting because I don't think there's a way for it to change the answer in the box at all because that's not the AI there. That's the person. AI puts it in there, but when you then edit it and click submit, then that's in the answer box. There will be a difference between your language you use and what it does as the summary.
Right.
Okay. That'd be fun to get into to learn more about that. So why don't we set up a time to take a look at that? And even if you have like an example, that'd be great. Yeah.
Well, and Alex, Darren just shared something in the chat. If you look at it, it kind of looks like exactly what you're asking about.
So is this the AI or the other version?
That's in the normal version. I'll click into the AI version now and see if it's any different.
Yeah.
Is that what you're wondering about the AI version?
Right. The AI one seems different and that doesn't have that as an option.
Yeah, the AI is automated that it sends it out once the person closes the report.
Okay. So that might be an enhancement then. Yeah, because it moves once it's closed, Pete, it just basically says everything is closed. So yeah, okay. Yeah, I've only done one of the AIs. So. Didn't have as much hallucination on the AI that they're explaining, but what I did in what I did get is, depending on the sophistication of the ally, like one person, the AI just kept saying, my colleague, and it was just not at all in the voice of the ally. And so there was, and that was resolved in the one-on-one meeting afterwards. I just told the client, I said, you know what, maybe it's the AI picking this or doing this, but it was just super formal, and their relationship was not that. So it was weird, but they navigated through.
Yeah, one of the challenges that we'll have with AI is how fast it changes. And so I want to keep on top of your experiences and hear what's going on with your experiences with it, so that we can try to adjust to that. One of the things that we found helpful is actually doing an orientation to the group that's going to be using the AI in advance. So taking 10, 15, 20 minutes at a staff meeting and actually doing a little demo of the system, so that they get accustomed to, okay, it's going to be interacting with you voice to voice. It's going to keep asking you questions until you click the summarize. So you don't have to keep answering the question if you feel that you've answered it fully. And it'll even prompt you in that way after the third question. It'll say, you feel you've answered this fully, go ahead and click summarize. And then your responsibility to edit it and so forth. Because what we found is that if people haven't interacted with voice to voice AI, they just keep talking to it. And the interviews actually take longer than a coach doing the interview, because it's kind of fascinating to have that conversation with an AI. And then we have heard, Darren, the part about it can use formal language sometimes, talking about colleague and that sort of thing. So they can end up having to edit that a bit over there. So good. Okay. Then what we wanted to, here are some videos that you can use as part of your trainings. These were ones that were in our certification. And so if you're ever interested in some of those around inattentional blindness, that sort of stuff. And now we have kind of that question, Lori and myself, of just, what would be helpful for you in the community? What would you like to see that we can do for you individually, or that we could do even as a community that might be beneficial to you?
I loved your refresh offer, so I'll probably take advantage of that, just because it's been a while. But I was thinking more things, like that, especially for some of us who have, been really active and then pulled away, not again intentionally, but just pausing, and then little bits here and there. So that would be, and I know we can schedule time with you one-to-one, so thank you for that. But also I appreciate it. And I think I saw that. Was that correct? Like a refresh offer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go through the certification again, you mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have the certification and I'm not sure how extensive that is, but if it is like a full recertification type program, I would love to see maybe a shorter, just refresh, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
And catch up to what's new. Like the whole AI piece is fantastic, right? I want to learn more about that. So that's
yeah,
what
I'd be happy to. So we actually have a couple of things. One is individuals who kind of went through and then never really used it, and then are like, I wish I would have done it right away. It's like you can go through the whole certification again for $995. And if you just want to get caught up on stuff, again, just set up time with me, and I'm happy to share with you, find out what you're using, what you're not, and here are some things you might consider.
There might be other people in the community too that fit the profile of me to refresh on some of that. So that would be helpful. That's just one input. Yeah.
Sure. Other things that might be helpful for the community. We've got two other things on the agenda here. One is the golden ticket. And that is, you maybe know somebody that that is interested in getting certified. And so we have a discount that you can offer them to go through. That's the biggest discount that we've got, and it's $500 off. So you can do that for like one person per certification. Our next one is coming up in October, November. And really, I think Andrew did the research on it, and it's like 61% of the people who have gotten certified were personal referrals. They're coming from other people from the community. So just take a moment and think about, who do you think might really benefit from this? We also find that the people that you refer, they just seem to be a really good fit for using it. So if you have somebody, please let us know. And then you also receive a free use of the platform by doing that. And yeah, this is the next time that we've got it. So then the last thing that we wanted to ask about, Lori, do you want to
Sure.
bring up? Yeah.
Sure. So the last thing that was on that list is Pete mentioned this a little bit at the beginning, and we've heard from several of you in the call today that you're working inside organizations, whether it's government, whether it's a corporate organization. That's a different motion than it takes to build a coaching practice. So we want to have a small group sessions with people in those kind of situations in government, in corporations, to just kind of connect, talk about what's going great, leverage your strengths, talk about where you saw people didn't want to do it, and then when you talked them into it, how you talked them into it, what the successes were, because we've heard from several of you today that when people start to do it, then it's kind of a waterfall, and people are like, oh, I want to do that for me. So we want to help all of you connect with the people who are in your situations, in like situations at any rate, to help you be more effective and with what you're doing with Shift Positive. So keep an eye out for me, from a message from me about this. And I'll just talk about kind of what it's going to look like. Maybe we'll talk about how often we want to do it. So that is up and coming. Does that interest those of you who are in here who are in organizations?
Yes.
Lori, Alex, yes. Yes, great. Awesome.
Yeah, the last one that we held, it was really fascinating to kind of sit back and watch everybody interact, because they were talking about, for example, their leadership development programs. And Rob Sloyan, who's used it a lot in his at Apogee, they do about an 8-month leader development program. And he talked about how fit the Shift Positive 360 in at the beginning, have people then work with a coach to do their plans, then they share their goals with each other, and then they do the progress survey at the 8-month mark, and they share the results with each other. And then they pull what would be your advice to the next group that's going to be coming through the leader development program. And of course, through the rest of those months, they're doing marketing, finance, a stretch assignment, style awareness, all that sort of leadership training that they go through. But this is kind of that through line. Mm-hmm. And so seeing how different people do leader development in their organizations was really fun to watch.
Yep. And I do just want to put out there too, you've all been getting my first 2 business development emails. And I just want to remind you that every once a month I have open office hours too. So when you have questions that come up, things that, maybe you want to talk to Pete, maybe you want to talk to me, maybe you want to brainstorm, jump onto that, because I'm there whether any of you join or not. Stephanie has been kind enough to join me on my first 2, but I'm there. So please join.
Good. Well, I think
when are those, Lori? Are those in the email, and I should already have received the memo? When are your office hours?
Say that again, Niels.
When are your office hours?
I believe the 3rd Friday of every month.
And you sent out an email with that, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah. You'll see it coming. I think we just have to have your emails straight, Niels. You have so many emails.
I know.
I saw that this morning. There's something going on about your emails.
Yeah, we have like 3 different ones now, I think.
Mm-hmm. So nice to see you all. We bring it to a close.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lori.
Enjoy.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh,
It's great to see you.
See you soon.
thanks for sharing. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. fun.
Third Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Lori's calls.
Oh, no, Alex just got in here. I think I told him the wrong time.
Oh no! Did you, Alex? Oh, I'm going to stop the recording.